best game you ever had?
I have to say this year when I played LaSalle. Like, I had a first half, like 4 touchdowns, 230 yards.
First half?
In the first half, yeah.
So how did you end the game?
Oh, I didn't play it. I didn't play second half.
We've got a new generation of NFL families coming to the national stage. And maybe there's no better storyline for this topic than Manning and Harrison. Of course, Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison became one of the best quarterback-wide receiver duos the NFL has ever seen. With Manning flinging it, Harrison led the NFL in receiving yards twice. He was selected to 3 first-team All-Pro awards, and probably most importantly, the two won a championship together. Harrison has already been elected to the Hall of Fame and was part of the most select group of wide receivers ever when he was selected to the NFL 100 team. Pretty much, Manning and Harrison set the league on fire during that 2000s decade. And now look, we got the number 1 ranked quarterback in his class with Arch Manning, who is Peyton's nephew, and if you're interested in learning more, then I already have 2 videos on him. And the other piece of this puzzle on the receiving end, we have Marvin Harrison Jr. Can you imagine sometime down the line if these two somehow end up playing with each other in the NFL? Obviously that would be nuts, but first let's get to know Marvin Jr. In this video, we'll go over his high school career, scouting report, the big name program he will be attending this next year, and of course, how he compares to his father. Then at the end, I want to give you guys a little channel update and what to expect in the future. Marvin Harrison Jr. finished his high school career as the league record holder for receiving yards and touchdowns. Those records were formerly held by Texans receiver Will Fuller. Harrison was such a dominant force for the team that they won 3 straight championships. He received offers from various schools including Florida, LSU, Michigan, Notre Dame, Penn State, which had the location advantage with him coming out of Philadelphia, but in the end, he opted for Ohio State. Now, first I want to give you, I guess, a little 24/7 sports blurb on Harrison. It says, great route tactician, gets out of breaks quickly and is precise in his route depths, good release and technical at the top of routes, has separation skills, uses size and length well to shield defenders, red zone threat, catches every routine ball and tracks it well, so smooth he makes it look effortless. Needs to add strength to handle jams and become more effective blocker. High-level player for top 15 college program. Now, I wouldn't be too concerned about his blocking because I also read a Rivals write-up about him being a great blocker. So there's some varying opinions there, but either way, I think just about everyone has him rated as a future NFL draft pick. Looking back in the 2000s, Harrison Sr. was known for his quickness and speed. I'll say his son isn't as fast as the old man once was. His 40 time was 4.38, and right now coming out of high school, Junior sits at 4.6.
Faster than you?
Yeah, he got me speed.
He still can beat you?
He got me by speed. Yeah, he got me by speed.
Yeah? You ain't never gonna catch him?
No.
He is, however, 5 inches taller than his dad, standing at 6'5". That's taller than Julio Jones, and just 1 inch short of Gronk. So with size like that, he could become one of those always open type receivers. The guys who can make big time plays downfield in a bailout situation. If he continues to improve his body control and ability to make contested catches, then I'm sure we'll be getting Mike Evans comparisons along the way. And looking more short term for his college career, he's bound to make his mark on the score sheet. I wouldn't worry too much about the speed because if there's one thing he got from his father, it would be football instincts. Basically, he's going to be better on the field than a combine or pro day would suggest. When there's a defensive back breathing down his neck, that's where he can set himself apart. And that natural feel for the game is going to help him plenty when he's asked to run different routes at a higher level, which could also get him some playing time earlier than expected. And if you're an Ohio State fan watching this, then boy do I have more good news for you. I guess you may already know this, but Harrison's high school quarterback Kyle McCord will be joining him in Columbus. And McCord, by the way, is a 5-star quarterback in the same class. This guy is supposed to be really freaking good, And if you think of the production Ohio State has had at that position recently, well, it seems like a match made in heaven. Harrison has called him the GOAT and said he thinks they can be an unstoppable duo at the next level. It reminds me a little bit of those cheesy Madden story modes where the quarterback and receiver go play for the same school and win a championship together on their way to the NFL. But this time it could actually happen in real life. Anyway, with that potentially unrivaled chemistry, that in turn could make Harrison an extremely dynamic player at Ohio State and skyrocket him into the first round or two of the NFL draft. If you're wondering, his dad was selected in the first round at 19th overall. Of course, these expectations are enormous, and Ryan Day said he's going to tell Harrison to not worry about such expectations. He said the only thing you can expect is that what you think is going to happen in your career, it won't happen that way. Never does. Everyone has their own journey, and different adversity comes along the way. Everyone's story is different. It's always worth mentioning with these NFL family videos that these players are working extremely hard to get to the level they're at. Sure, they were born with an advantage, but it's still incredibly hard to get to these top levels. And most importantly, no matter the excitement surrounding a player, nothing is guaranteed. Now, to finish this, I just wanted to update you guys with a couple of things on this channel. First off, I don't think too many people had the chance to watch my video on the secret and corrupt John Elway trade veto, which I think is one of the wildest stories in NFL history. I worked really hard on that video and personally think it's one of the best ones I've made in the past year. I don't know if it was the title or a thumbnail or just the holidays, but not many people seem to be clicking on it. Sometimes YouTube just works that way and it can kind of mess with your mind when you spend so much time on a video, so I'd really appreciate if you guys can check that one out if you haven't already. And looking to the future, I normally try to keep my options open with videos. I know I have some requests to do a video on the current collapse of the Patriots. I think I could make a good one on that with some analysis you probably haven't heard before. Once the season ends, I do want to dive into some of the draft prospects too, especially that top-notch quarterback class that we'll get to know better in the next couple of months. So as always, there will be stuff to look forward to, and I'm always so grateful to have all of your support. Oh, and like I said in the beginning, I'll include the Arch Manning video in the end screen. I'll also include a playlist of all my NFL family videos, in case you want to go through those and pick out which ones you want to watch.
Honestly, like we talked about going to the same school even before Ohio State was in the picture. And once I committed, I really didn't have to say too much.